This is Pittsburgh Sunday Morning. My name's Sean McDowell.
Happy Easter, happy Passover.
If you'd like to be a guest on the program, if you're a member of a group or organization that has an upcoming cause or event that the listening community would be interested in, doesn't necessarily have to be a local cause or event, doesn't even have to be a nonprofit cause or event either. Contact me. My name again is Sean McDowell, and my email address is my first name, and you spell Sean, Sean, Sean at DVE.com. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. So it's that time of the year again, and we're welcoming back to Pittsburgh Sunday Morning our friends from the American Lung Association. Locally, that's the American Lung Association in Pennsylvania. That's www.action.lung.org, 412-430-3061. Next Saturday morning, we're like less than a week away. It's the 12th annual Fight for Air Climb. It's next Saturday morning, April 7th, and we have a new location this year. It's the JLL Center at Tower 260. It's Forbes Avenue. It's right off of Market Square downtown. Next Saturday morning, we climb 36 floors, 665 steps. All the details are on the way this morning. Experience the climb of your life. This is a lung challenge like no other. This is the American Lung Association's signature fundraising event. Over the last few years, the fight for air climbs around the country, not just here in Pittsburgh, but elsewhere around the country, these climbs have raised more than $45 million to support the mission of the American Lung Association. And anyone and everyone can participate. You set your own pace. You can climb as an individual or as a team member. You can do this for personal training, the 12th annual Fight for Air Climb. You can do it for a personal challenge. You can do it to support someone who suffers from lung disease. You can do it in memory of someone, a loved one or a close personal friend maybe, who has passed away as a result of lung disease. We have our guests. We're going to introduce them with us, one on the phone, three in our studios here at DVE on Fleet Street. I've done the Fight for Air Climb for 8 years now. I did my first climb when we were doing this event at the Gulf Tower, and then we moved it over to One Oxford Center for a few years. Last year, it was at the City Center Tower on Smithfield. So we have a beautiful new location downtown this year. We're going to talk about climbers etiquette this morning, too. If you're a slow climber like me, you stay to the right so that the faster, much younger climbers can pass you on the left. So let's welcome on the phone with us right now. It's the Chief Mission Officer of the American Lung Association. Deb Brown is with us. Hey, Deb, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having the American Lung Association.
Okay, and also, welcome, Deb. Ed Page is with us in the studio. Ed is a Lung Force hero, and Ed is also Senior Vice President of Property Management at Millcraft Investments. Well, Ed is going to be sharing his Lung Force hero story with us this morning. Ed, Lung Force, uniting men and women to stand together against lung cancer and for lung health. My wife, Cindy, is a two-time lung cancer survivor. We'll talk this morning. Deb, my wife's lung cancer was detected extremely early, by the way, and it saved her life. Early detection. I know that's one of the American Lung Association's priorities, early lung detection and screening, right?
That is correct. There's new availability for lung cancer screening for people who are considered at high risk, and we know that it can save thousands of lives. And so one of the things the American Lung Association has been working on is a campaign. We launched it on World Lung Cancer Day last year, and it's called Saved by the Scan.
Yep.
And it's to encourage people who are at high risk to get screened. And since the launch, we have screened more than 120,000 people have taken the lung cancer screening eligibility quiz. It's a very short quiz at savedbythescan.org, and 75% of those people were found to be eligible for screening. So hopefully, like your wife, we are going to have people who find their lung cancer early, and we are going to save lives, and we are going to keep families and friends intact and have many, many years of happiness.
Beautiful. That's Deb Brown on the phone with us. She's Chief Mission Officer of the American Lung Association. And also in the studio with us, it's Chelsea Peluso. Chelsea is in charge of PR, and she is also Community Relations Manager at Millcraft Investments. Chelsea will explain all about Millcraft's involvement with the American Lung Association's Fight for Air Climb this morning. Chelsea, welcome to you. And Chelsea and Ed, Ed Page, once again, Senior VP of Property Management at Millcraft Investments. This is your new building downtown right off of Market Square that we're all going to be climbing next Saturday morning, right? A 2-year-old building, the JLL Center at Tower 260. Again, that's 36 floors, 665 steps straight up. And also with us this morning, these are the guys and girls who amaze everyone at this event every year. It's the first responders, the firefighters and the EMTs who do the fight for air climb in full gear, like carrying an extra up to like 75 pounds. So Nicholas Dibble is with us this morning. Nicholas is a firefighter at the Bridgeville VFD. Welcome to you, Nicholas. So this is your third time, I think you mentioned?
Yes, sir.
Okay, third climb. And you climb in full gear? How many extra pounds is that on your body when you say full gear?
You add in all the other tools and everything, like you said, it can get up to 75 pounds with everything we carry in our pockets and stuff like that. But to do the climb itself, we're stripping all that stuff out. So it's like the extra, like screwdrivers, flashlights, all that stuff. Like I'm not carrying any of that with me doing that. Like, no.
The first responders are amazing. That's Nicholas Dibble, Bridgeville VFD, American Lung Association in Pennsylvania, action.lung.org, 412-430-3061. Deb Brown on the phone with us, Chief Mission Officer, American Lung Association. Where we're climbing this year in Pittsburgh, Deb, the JLL Center downtown, and also Ed, they'll be hosting a Club 665. This is a special VIP area?
That is correct. So the Club 655 VIP area is for people who will raise $665 or more, and it'll include snacks and drinks and a view of Market Square that's just amazing and much more. So we're encouraging people to join the Club 665.
Ed?
Yes, fortunately, our team, Partners for PAP, is part of that 665 club, and we're looking forward to getting a lot of other folks there in that VIP area with us on that day.
I wanted to ask you about Partners for PAP, so we'll talk about that. That's Ed Page. He's a Lung Force hero and also Senior VP of Property Management at Millcraft Investments. Hey, Deb, how many people here roughly in the Pittsburgh area are struggling with lung disease?
So in the Pittsburgh area, we have about 300, well, in Pennsylvania, more than 372,000 people suffer from chronic lung disease. And specifically in the Pittsburgh, Newcastle, Weirton area, and across the nation, we have more than 32 million people who suffer from chronic lung diseases. And that includes people who suffer from asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. And in addition to those statistics, we want people to know that lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer of men and women.
Yep.
And according to the American Lung Association's new report, which is Lung Force State of Lung Cancer, there will be more than 10,470 people in Pennsylvania diagnosed with lung cancer and 7,280 individuals who will succumb to that deadly disease in 2018. So we know that Pennsylvania ranks number 31 out of 50 states in the District of Columbia with a lung cancer incident rate.
Deb, we'll touch back on the extremely serious lung cancer issue, but also here in Western PA, the air quality isn't always what it should be because, in fact, this area is on the worst 25 in the U.S. for air pollution, correct?
That is correct. So the American Lung Association puts out a report each year. Last year, Pittsburgh metro area had its best ever results for all three pollutants that we measure, but it still remained on both the worst 25 in the U.S. list for particle pollution and for failing to meet the annual standard. And we're hoping this year, our report is released on April 18th, and so we're hoping that we might see a difference in the Pittsburgh metro area, and we'll be happy to come back and talk with you at a later date about that.
Okay, so Deb Brown, Chief Mission Officer on the phone with us for the American Lung Association. These new cases of lung cancer being diagnosed just here in PA, we all know that anyone can get lung cancer. For example, like Dana Reeves, who was the wife of the late Hollywood movie star Christopher Reeves. She died of lung cancer. She never smoked a cigarette in her life. But then again, quite often, lung cancer is directly related to smoking cigarettes. So Ed Page and Chelsea Peluso, Nicholas Dibble, are you all Pittsburghers?
Yes.
Yes.
We are.
Okay, so I'm an ex-smoker. I quit in 1999. Deb, my wife, Cindy, two-time lung cancer survivor, she quit in the year 2003. She had to right before her lung surgery. I'm a native Pittsburgher. I live here. I know there are still a ton of women who smoke cigarettes in Pittsburgh. Being a native Pittsburgher, I see this all the time. Pittsburgh still has a ton of smokers here. So many women still smoke. Well, a lot of guys smoke, but I seem to see just a lot of women smoking as well. I have to be careful about what I say because I'm an ex-smoker and I don't want to sound like a judgmental nag because there's nothing worse to a smoker like me. I smoked for 27 years. Nobody wants to be nagged about quitting. But Deb and Ed, how do you change this dynamic of so many smokers in Pittsburgh? Women who smoke, how do you get the message across that smoking can do so much long-term damage to you if it doesn't kill you first? Deb, Ed?
Well, I'll jump in, Ed, if that's okay.
Certainly.
You know, I do want to make sure everyone knows that anyone can get lung cancer. You
Right.
don't have to be a smoker. You know, there are other things such as radon or air pollution or
Right.
secondhand smoke exposure or workplace exposure issues that certainly contribute to individuals who might develop lung cancer. But, you know, one of the things with smoking in general is, you know, the individual, we want to work with them. We want to offer them a quit plan. We want to have something set up. We want to make sure that they're comfortable and ready to quit. I think, you know, one of the things that we often find is, you know, we want people to quit, but the person has to be ready themselves to quit. And so the American Lung Association has a Freedom from Smoking program that helps people quit. It's been in existence for about 35 years. We also have a helpline, a lung helpline. It's free. It's 1-800-LUNG-USA, and people can call and set up a time to speak with a certified tobacco treatment specialist or a counselor to help them really walk through the quitting process.
That's Deb Brown again, the American Lung Association in Pennsylvania, action.lung.org, 412-430-3061. Next Saturday, April 7th, it's the 12th annual Fight for Air climb at the JLL Center, Tower 260, Forbes Avenue. It's right off of Market Square downtown. We'll all be climbing 36 floors, 665 steps. Experience the climb of your life, a lung challenge like no other. And this is the American Lung Association's signature fundraising event. The Fight for Air climbs around the country. There's a bunch of them. They've raised more than $45 million over the years to support the mission of the American Lung Association. Ed Page is with us this morning. Ed is a lung force hero, which he's going to explain. Ed is also the Senior VP of Property Management at Millcraft Investments. Millcraft Investments, this is their building that we're climbing next Saturday morning, April 7th, for the 12th annual Fight for Air climb. And Chelsea Peluso is with us as well. Chelsea from Millcraft Investments. She's the PR and Community Relations Manager. Chelsea, how did Millcraft Investments get involved with the American Lung Association and its fight against lung disease?
Yeah, so this is actually our first year, and we are the hosting sponsor. We are working with JLL in our building, and it's such a fun opportunity. We're really excited to be a part of it, to really show off our Class A LEED certified building in downtown. And like you've mentioned, it's right next to Market Square, so we're really excited to show that off.
I've seen it. I've never been inside it, though.
Yeah, well, you have your opportunity coming up.
I'll see it from the
See the
inside. Yeah,
stairwells.
that's right, from the stairwell perspective next Saturday.
Yeah, we'll also be hosting next door is our restaurant Rebel and Roost, so you're more than welcome to check it out and stop for a bite to eat or a cocktail after the climb. But another reason why we actually became a part of it this year is we lost a team member with Millcraft in January to lung cancer.
Oh, wow.
So we will be honoring Jim, who worked in our Washington, PA office through this climb, and we're really excited that we have this opportunity as a team to do this together and to be the hosting building.
Wow. That's Chelsea from Millcraft Investments. And we also have Nicholas Dibble, one of our guests this morning. And by the way, Millcraft Investments, it's their building we're climbing next Saturday for the 12th annual Fight for Air climb. It's right off of Market Square. Nicholas, a Bridgeville VFD guy, a firefighter, and here's to all the firefighters, very brave men and women. And at the Fight for Air climb, the first responders, you guys, Deb, they go last in line, right, to enter the stairwell in full gear.
That is correct. And if there's anyone that just even wants to come out and see that part of it, it is just absolutely amazing to see all of these men and women and young people climbing the steps in full gear.
Yep.
It's just very touching, and we're very grateful to have them as part of the climb.
Yeah, the first responders weighing over 45 pounds. That's just the extra stuff that they're bringing with them. A helmet, a hood, firefighter's pants, a firefighter's coat, gloves, boots. And that's an air pack on your back, Nicholas?
Yes, sir.
Wow. I struggle through the climb every year, and I just wear a T-shirt, shorts, and a pair of tennis shoes.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame when you're wearing gear.
Oh, I can't imagine. I see you guys like every year. It's so amazing. I always ask to have my picture taken with you. Ed, have you done the climb before?
This will be my first year, yes.
Chelsea, have you done the climb before?
I'm a first timer.
Okay. People need to be reminded that the firefighters have an increased risk for lung disease on your everyday jobs, Nicholas. From you guys are exposed to gases, you're exposed to chemicals, smoke every day in the line of duty. Deb and Ed and Chelsea, this year's presenting sponsor is MSA Safety Incorporated. Now, these are the people, I'm assuming, who manufacture safety gear for first responders like Nicholas, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to cover the cost. MSA Safety Incorporated, they're covering the cost of the first 100 firefighters who register for the climb. Deb, we should go over the registration numbers quickly because we'll do it again before we're finished. But it's $125 now until Wednesday, right? If you order or if you register.
That's correct.
Okay, $125 between now. We're airing on Sunday, April 1st, and you have until next Wednesday, April 4th, I think, to get in for $125. But you can register on site day of event for $150.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, let me ask Nicholas again, Nicholas Dibble of the Bridgeville VFD. Why do you do the climb?
Couple different reasons. One, it's like I like a challenge, and so it's like, this has like a fundraising aspect as well as like a physical aspect to it. So at the same time, it's like it's kind of on a personal level. It's, as you said, it's like, this is something that we're exposed to.
Yeah.
Like this is our everyday life. Even for me, when I was younger, I used to have asthma. So it's like I went through the breathing treatments and stuff like that. So it's like I was at a point where it's like, breathing was a little difficult from time to time. So it's like to be able to help do something about that. Like I said, like a challenge to be able to, also like raise awareness and stuff like that. There's people out there that don't know what's going on or, just completely clueless.
I walk from my wife. I'll discuss this. My wife, a lung cancer survivor. My mother was asthmatic, as you just pointed out, because she lived with my father her entire life, who was a heavy smoker. He's been gone a long time, but my mom turned out to be asthmatic as a result of my father smoking. We do the DVE Radiothon for Children's Hospital every September. And we see kids all the time who are there waiting for a lung transplant, Deb, who may be there for cystic fibrosis or other serious lung illnesses, lung diseases. So I always think about the kids at Children's Hospital who are just also struggling to breathe normally, besides your COPD, emphysema, other lung disease folks as well. That's why I do the climb every year.
We're so appreciative that you do it and that you have those individuals in mind. One of the things that we like to say is when people are climbing these stairs, they're climbing for people that they might have lost to lung disease, but they're also climbing for individuals who can't climb. And you also get a little bit of a taste of what it feels like for people who have breathing difficulties on a daily basis.
Well, as Chelsea just pointed out, you guys are climbing, Chelsea, for this is Chelsea Peluso. You lost one of your coworkers at Millcraft Investments?
Yeah. He passed away this past January.
Of lung cancer.
Yes.
www.action.lung.org, the American Lung Association here in Pennsylvania, 412-430-3061. Wait, I have a stupid question for Nicholas, Bridgeville VFD. How difficult is it to do the climb wearing an additional 45 to 75 pounds of gear? I told you it was going to be a stupid question.
Yeah, I used to do like 5Ks and stuff like that, but that does not compare to the climb with the gear and everything. It's like 665 steps. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just constant. Like,
oh, geez.
It's like the uphill battle. And I think my first time doing it, I stopped. I don't know how many times, but I still made it in like 18 minutes. That's when we were at the One Oxford building. Last year, I did it in 14 minutes, and I don't know who came up with the idea that the breathing apparatus can last 45 minutes. I guess if you're breathing normal. I pretty much sucked that bottle out in 14 minutes last year. I was breathing so hard that the like I said before, like the valves actually froze open. So when I got to the top, it's like everybody's like, "Can you turn that off?" I'm like, "I'm trying," so it's like it is difficult. So it's like I don't recommend any couch potato trying to like get up and put on 45 pounds of gear and go up. It's like paramedics are standing by in that case. So
Yes. Here's to the firefighters. You guys are amazing. As Deb Brown pointed out, the firefighters, the EMTs, they do this event every year in full gear. The American Lung Association in PA again. And it's next Saturday morning, April 7th, the 12th annual Fight for Air Climb on behalf of the American Lung Association at the JLL Center. This beautiful new building, Tower 260, Forbes Avenue, right off of Market Square downtown. It's 36 floors, 665 steps that we're all going to be climbing. Experience the climb of your life, a lung challenge like no other. And Ed Page, a lung force hero, is with us right now. Ed is also Senior Vice President of Property Management at Millcraft Investments. This is their building, Millcraft Investments, the building we're going to be climbing in the stairwell next Saturday. Ed, there's going to be more than 350 people participating this year, next Saturday morning. You are a lung force hero. What does that honor mean exactly, Ed?
I was approached by the Lung Association several months ago, and they asked me to get involved and to be the lung hero. I really don't think I'm anything related to being a hero, but it struck me to the core, quite frankly, that about 3 years ago, my father was diagnosed with lung cancer. I felt like I really needed to get involved. And I also have two sons that have asthma. I felt this was an opportunity to maybe do something that would make people aware of what is going on with people with lung disease.
Is your father still with us?
He is not.
Was your father the reason you created that team, Partners for PAP? Was PAP your dad?
Yes, Pap was my dad and grandfather to my children and my family's children. We had played about 3 years ago. We had just finished a wonderful round of 18 holes of golf. My father, my two sons. The next day, my dad wasn't feeling real well, experiencing some coughing and trouble breathing. After seeing his PCP, they referred him to a pulmonary specialist and did some further testing and said they needed to do some lung surgery. At that point, they removed about 2 liters of fluid from his lungs, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
Wow.
18 rounds of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, about 16 months later, we lost him.
Very sorry.
One of the things that we found when speaking with the doctors and the surgeons is that this cancer usually is not caught early enough. And a lot of times it is stage 4, and there's not a lot that they can do to help. So, we found it very hard to watch this guy I always looked up to, strong and vibrant and loved his family and grandchildren, and to lose him to this terrible disease. So hoping that me getting out of my comfort zone and sitting here with everyone today and sharing my story will help folks maybe get some pre-screening, and maybe we can get a resolve to this terrible disease.
That's Ed Page, a lung force hero, a beautiful, sad story about his dad, and that's why Ed formed his team, Partners for PAP. Ed Page is a lung force hero, climbing on behalf of his dad next Saturday morning. Ed, also Senior Vice President of Property Management at Millcraft Investments. Hey, Deb, as Ed just mentioned, his father's oncologists and the other doctors involved, they also stressed the importance of early detection. My wife, Cindy, her lung cancer was diagnosed first at stage 1A, which never happens. She had a lung x-ray, and a radiologist spotted this tiny little speck. So she went in for the surgery initially. They took the top lobe of her right lung off, but she didn't need radiation and chemotherapy the first time. Then the cancer returned 8 years later, stage 3, and then she needed to go through the chemo radiation. But I just bring that up because, as Ed pointed out, Deb, early detection really does make a huge difference, not just with lung cancer, in so many other areas too.
That is absolutely correct. And so when we talk about lung cancer, we look at people who are considered at high risk for developing lung cancer. And that includes anyone between the ages of 55 and 80 years old who is a current smoker or quit smoking in the last 15 years and smoked the equivalent of 30 pack years. What that means is 1 pack a day for 30 years or 2 packs a day for 15 years. Those individuals are eligible for screening, and we strongly encourage them to get the low-dose CT screening. We know that if we screen only half of the 9 million Americans who are considered at high risk, that about 15,000 lives would be saved. We would catch the lung cancer early enough when it's curable, and people can live, happy, healthy lives.
That's Deb Brown on the phone with us, the American Lung Association, and also Ed Page, a lung force hero. Lung cancer itself was specifically targeted by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative that was back in 2014 to try to give hope to families facing a diagnosis of lung cancer. When you're told that you have lung cancer, oh my God, your life stops immediately, and it affects the whole family. It isn't just the patient or the patient's partner. Diagnosis of lung cancer at any stage, everything stops.
It does. It absolutely does.
The American Lung Association, with the lung force uniting men and women in their fight against lung cancer, they strive to increase men and women's awareness of lung cancer. And as Deb pointed out earlier, it's the #1 cancer killer, lung cancer. The American Lung Association trying to educate and empower patients and healthcare providers and to raise critical funds for lung cancer research. And as Deb Brown has pointed out, the availability of lung cancer low-dose CT screenings. This is a great opportunity to save lives. The Saved by the Scan issue we were talking about earlier, the initiative, a lung cancer screening campaign to raise awareness about the importance of being screened. The American Lung Association in PA, action.lung.org, 412-430-3061. Okay, hey, Deb, before we wrap up here, Nicholas has done this before, our Bridgeville VFD guy, but Chelsea and Ed haven't done the climb before, so we need to go over some, by the way, the MC this year, Master of Ceremonies again, it's Andrew Stockey from WTAE. He runs the stairwell, always has. It's unbelievable. Deb, do you want to thank the sponsors and also the event chair? I almost forgot to mention the event chair coming up for Saturday. It's Pittsburgh Fire Bureau Chief Daryl Jones. So it'll be great to see Chief Jones there as well. But the sponsors, Deb?
Sure. We'd like to really thank our presenting sponsor, MSA Safety, and our signature sponsors this year, Millcraft and the JLL, Jones, Lang, and LaSalle organization. We also want to thank our other event sponsors, Highmark, Allegheny Health Network, JKS Financial, and Emerson. And I want to remind everyone that there is an after party at the Revel and Roost for participants to enjoy brunch and announcements as a result of this year's climb.
Yes. Deb, some quick FAQs here. Frequently asked questions. Starting time, next Saturday morning, April 7th, starting time at Tower 260. It's Forbes Avenue, right off of Market Square downtown, this beautiful new building. The climbers move in waves, starting at 8:30 next Saturday morning. The most experienced or elite climbers, they go first, right?
That is correct. And there are some people who are what we call century climbers, so they will climb twice.
Right.
So they will be at the beginning as well.
You know what we call those elite climbers and the century climbers? Show-offs. I'm kidding. We watch all of these elite climbers come out of the elevators like every year, and the rest of us are standing there waiting to get into the stairwell ourselves. And these guys have just done the entire event in like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. They're amazing. We're all like looking at these people like, oh my God. Okay, so after the elite climbers and runners go up the stairs, then the teams and individual climbers begin. And this is a timed event, but Deb, you can move at your own time. Unless you're competing against another team or team member, you're really not on the clock.
I think, and you're right, and I think that's one of the most important things to remind people about the Fight for Air climb is that anyone can do this climb.
Right.
We've had young people do this climb. We've had people who probably, wish they exercised every day and don't, like me. But I think that the most important thing, as you said, is to go at your own pace. Many people think, oh, I can do this, and they start out really fast, and then by the time they get to the third or fourth floor, they're so exhausted. So just take your time. And as you said, stay to the right if you're just taking your time. And let those who really think that they can climb quickly go to the left. So it really is for everyone and anyone. We've seen families do this. We've seen, moms and dads walk with children holding, taking them up the floor. So it's just a really great event for everyone to be able to participate in.
And again, it's $150 the day of next Saturday. It's $125 till next Wednesday. Do this online at action.lung.org. The American Lung Association will provide a secure bag drop for everyone bringing stuff. It'll be like in the, the ground level of the building we're climbing in, right, Ed and Chelsea?
Yes, that'll be at the, I think, ground level accessible.
Yeah.
Right on Forbes Avenue.
Right
They're going to
outside.
close off Forbes Avenue so that they can have that right outside the doors.
And you can bring a change of clothes. You can bring snacks, water, although there will be complimentary snacks and water provided to next Saturday morning at Tower 260, right, Deb?
That's correct.
Okay. And what to wear, unless you're Nicholas, a first responder, you don't want to wear an extra 45 to 75 pounds of gear. Don't wear anything heavy or restrictive to movement. Wear as little as possible. I would recommend shorts, T-shirts, socks, shoes. You can bring your iPod, you can bring your smartphone, an MP3 player, wear your headphones, your inhaler if you need one. No carrying children. Climbing etiquette, Deb, we mentioned earlier, pass the slower climbers like me on your right. Slower climbers like me, stay on the right. Don't get in anybody's way. Emergency teams will be stationed at the bottom and the top of the stairwell. No water bottles are allowed with the climbers in the stairwell this year, Deb. Ed and I were talking about that.
Yeah, correct.
You just pointed out Revel and Roost afterwards, Tower 260. That's when the awards will be happening, probably around 11:30 next Saturday morning. Awards will be handed out for the fastest man and woman, the fastest first responders. Good luck, Nicholas. Fastest team, most spirited team, top individual fundraisers. I just wanted to point this out before we go. If you're listening and you would like to join us for this event, this will be the 8th year for me. Now, for a lot of folks, and Ed and Chelsea haven't done this before, but Nicholas, you've done this. Deb, have you done this climb?
I have, yes,
Okay.
in the past.
Well, this is it really is for a lot of the participants. This is a competition, but don't be intimidated by the elite climbers. Be like me. Don't worry about the clock. This is a female and male macho competition because there's prizes and there's prestige and esteem involved here. And I totally get that. God love them. Good for them. But if you are not involved in any sort of competition, don't worry about the clock. Just be happy that you're there participating in this great annual event, the signature fundraising event for the American Lung Association, the Fight for Air Climb. And I mentioned to everybody, Deb, we all stand there in the lobby waiting for our turn to get into the stairwell. And we watch all of the elite climbers who just ran the stairwell. They're getting out of the elevators. And the rest of us are like looking at them like gulp.
Yeah,
There's actually
We're next.
It doesn't matter when you get off the elevator, though. We still cheer and applaud
Yes.
you for a job well done. So thank
Exactly.
you all for participating.
What were you going to say, Nicholas?
Yeah, there's actually a girl that puts pretty much all the first responders to shame, in my opinion. This girl's doing it for her 4th year this year. I'm not going to mention her name because I don't have her permission to do that. But she's in the Army, I think, and she's also a volunteer firefighter. So she gets in her military fatigues or whatever they're called. She does the climb once, comes back down, throws her gear on, does it again. And then she has the nerve to call me crazy because I'm actually breathing on the apparatus. I'm like, says the person who's done this twice.
Oh, wow. Well, thanking Deb Brown, Chief Mission Officer, American Lung Association. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Ed Page, Lung Force Hero, Senior Vice President of Property Management at Millcraft Investments. Thanks so much, Ed. See you Saturday.
Yes, Sean. Thank you very much.
Chelsea Peluso, PR and Community Relations Manager at Millcraft Investments. See you next Saturday, Chelsea.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And Nicholas Dibble, first responder, climbing in full gear from the Bridgeville VFD next Saturday. Nicholas, thanks so much.
Thank you.
www.action.lung.org 412